Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, February 4th. We'll call the Wright County Board of Commissioners to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have a pretty good, robust agenda here, given we had a week break in between the last meeting here. First item on the agenda would be the approval of the minutes. We have minutes from January 21st and January 27th. I can approve them collectively or individually. I'll stand for modifications at this time.
Mr. Chair, I do have modifications, please.
Yes.
Thank you. I would like to amend the minutes of the Sheriff and Attorney Salary Committee of the Whole from November 19th, County Board minutes from December 17th, and County Board minutes January 21st to state, a data request regarding the sheriff was discussed by Commissioner Shane and Holland, quote. The minutes were amended by me in December to state that a citizen's data request was discussed by Commissioner Shane and Holland and approved 5-0 by the board. And on January 21st, my amended comments were then stricken. Minutes are public record and should reflect the significant items discussed at the meetings. That's why I amended those minutes in the first place. Because this item was considered a determining factor regarding the sheriff's salary setting at 2%, Commissioner Holland approved the amended changes at the December 17th meeting, only to strike the amended comments at the January 21st board meeting. Again, so I would just request that my amended comments be added to those requested minutes, please.
Can I comment?
Okay, at this time, is that an official motion at this time?
Yes,
Okay, that's a
please.
motion by Commissioner Dietrich. Do we have a second?
I'll second it so we can comment.
Okay.
I'd like to
Commissioner Holland.
comment. So we amended it because the discussion wasn't about a citizen's data request. We would want the citizens to come forward, and if they feel they need to do a data request, they can. It was regarding Sheriff Derringer's data request on 2 commissioners because he didn't want to give us we asked for 3 receipts for 3 big items. He chose not to, and then decided to do a data request on 2 of the commissioners, Commissioner Holland and Commissioner Ketchmark, so that he thought we were not asking other leadership for the same things, and we are. We have fraud in the federal government. We have fraud in the state government. That is our number one duty, is to guard the money of our constituents. And when we ask for receipts, that is not a lot to ask. So that is why it costed $10,000, and that is why that negatively reflected his performance pay. It had nothing to do with citizen data request, and that is why I struck that. And that is why I would like that we do not have, we don't have political theater in our minutes.
Mr. Chair, the sheriff is a citizen of Wright County. He doesn't abdicate that when he's also elected sheriff. He has every right, like everyone else, to make a data request, and that was made by an attorney, not actually by the sheriff.
Okay, we're not even germane here to the subject here, board members. This is where we have a real pain point here as a board. We have now weaponized minutes. It is not practical, it is not productive, and it is creating a great deal of anxiety for staff. This is where I feel like we've had the discussion about needing to go with just recommendations and the votes in the minutes and letting the video stand as the record. And that video is out there. We don't need to have these discussions as to who said what and what should be articulated in the minutes when there's a video out there to tell you exactly what everybody says. There's no modification to it. Because at this point, doing these summary minutes, staff is having a very difficult time and is actually getting a bit of anxiety in trying to determine what things to include in the minutes and what things not to include in the minutes.
And that's why we make amendments, Mr. Chair. And I did not weaponize this. This was approved 5-0 in December. And it come back a month later and to adjust those and strike them. And now we're into February and still discussing this. I didn't make that happen. It was done in December.
I have to believe that this is more about continuing a discussion and an argument than it is about what the record reflects. So for that purpose, I really ask the board members to approve these minutes and move forward with it. And we do need to make a move here going forward that the videos will be the determination of what anybody says. The minutes at this point, and I'm strongly at this point recommending, because we are going at almost every meeting where we have immense amount of modifications on who said what, and it is not productive. It is not a good use of staff time, especially when there is a video out there to determine who said what. So we have a motion, we have a second. Is there other discussion on these minutes? Is there modifications? Are they including Commissioner Dietrich's amendments?
I think that's what my motion was, to include that.
She seconds that. Is there any other discussion on it? If hearing none,
I guess I'm just curious, what are we approving at this point?
at this point, we would be approving the minutes with the modifications made by Commissioner Dietrich, which were included in her motion.
To repeat, that a data request regarding the sheriff was discussed by Commissioners Shane and Holland at the sheriff and attorney salary meeting, committee of the whole. I mean, yeah, that doesn't have to be included, but just that it was discussed.
I just want to make sure I'm following this correctly, because I wasn't a part of several of these conversations. This is regarding a meeting in November that then was talked about again in December. Was approved in those minutes, then brought up in January and now in February, and we're approving which set of minutes along here. I'm just kind of lost. I'm sure a lot of people probably are.
Yes.
Which set of minutes we are approving, which ones we're not.
And I'm almost at the point now where I would rather the minutes be diluted down to letting the video stand as the record and just have the minutes reflect what the recommendations were and what the vote results were. And if you want to have the nuts
Mr.
and
Chair.
details about who said what, we can go to the video.
Mr. Chair, not all of our meetings are recorded by video or voice recording. That meeting was not.
Well, the committee of the wholes, no.
The
But
committee of the wholes are not. And so how are we going to have a record when you're just summarizing one thing? When it is a discussion to be had, we don't all think alike. I think it's very important that we're transparent to the public. This is the first thing for me. I got elected by the citizens, and they need to know what's going on in our meetings.
I just think it's a personnel issue, so I don't feel
This
that
was a
it should
public
be-
meeting.
But it's still personnel related.
No,
and
it's
we
not.
didn't
It's a
want it to
public
be-
meeting.
We didn't want it to be, we did not want that to be in the public.
Mr. Chair,
But
it
when I
doesn't
saw
matter
the
what you
minutes-
feel about it.
Excuse me,
It's the
yeah,
facts.
Commissioner Holland has the floor at this time.
I'd like to call the question.
All right, the question's been called. We have a motion by Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland, with the modifications and the approval of the minutes from the 121 and 127. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
All right, motion fails, 3-1, one abstention. All right,
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented for both the 21st and the 27th.
Second.
all right, motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane for the approval of the January 21st and January 27th minutes as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 4-1. All right, moving forward to today's agenda, is there any?
I'll make a
modifi-
motion to approve the agenda as written.
I'll second that.
You are quite fast, Commissioner Moyna.
Mr. Chair, if I could make one friendly, one friendly suggested amendment, I would like to add, excuse me, item A2, to schedule a committee of the whole to talk about the Public Health Division and HHS, and I'm looking at scheduling that after board on February 18th. Staff is just trying to create a systematic way of probably every month just trying to meet with the divisions of HHS so that we have an understanding of what their large divisions are before we get into formal budgeting in the summer.
So we're targeting is it 10:30 you were saying?
Yes, 10:30 on the 18th, but we can discuss that as part of A2.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
We're just
sorry.
yeah, you're right. Sorry.
I got into it a little earlier.
I'm thinking ahead of my brain that we're making the move on there. All right. So is that a friendly amendment, Commissioner Moina and Commissioner Holland?
I'll just make that inclusion in my motion.
Perfect. So, all right.
that.
All right. So we have a motion to approve today's agenda with the added scheduling of a meeting. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimous. Today's consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove anything from today's consent agenda for further discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Moina, second by Commissioner Holland to approve today's consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimous. Today's timed agenda items. First item on the agenda, we have Greg Pickard is making his way to the podium.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Okay, so, excuse me, I have two items in front of you today, both for resolutions. The first one is the donation from the DAV in Hutchinson, Chapter 37, I believe it is. Every year, they kind of give us a donation. It changes every year, up and down a little bit, but to use for our veterans. And what we typically use this for is where there's not some other program available to a veteran. Either they don't meet that specific criteria for that program, but they're still a veteran, or that program just can't turn fast enough to help that veteran out. Okay, so it's kind of an emergent type of fund we use it for if they need gas, or they need food, or they need a tire, something, something like that we don't really have another funding line for. That's what we use it for.
Very good. All right. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution for accepting donations.
So moved.
All right. Motion by
second
Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland. Any other discussion? I just like to say they have been, the chapter down the Hutchinson there has been a very great partner for us.
They have,
Yeah.
absolutely. This is third or fourth year they've given in to $2,000, $1,500 range every year. And then the auxiliary, we usually get one from the auxiliary at some point too. So, yeah, they're very, very, and they do a lot of stuff. They do donations, equipment donations for the entire state pretty much. So Van Carg and his people down there, that DAV chapter does a lot of stuff for the veterans in the state.
So we can't thank them enough for the support of the veterans here in Wright County. So we greatly appreciate that donation. At this time, if no other discussion, I'd say resolution vote. Commissioner Moina?
All right.
Aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimous.
Okay, thank you. And then the second one. So back last summer, the outreach person from Wright Hennepin Co-op approached me. And she is a former Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, which I don't know if is a veterans organization in the state. So she was part of that before. She moved over to Wright Hennepin Co-op. They wanted to do something for veterans. So she worked with the employees and they took up a donation and asked me, okay, well, Greg, what would help you the most? And at the time, it was gift cards. So they went out and they got us like $1,550 worth of gift cards or whatever, different ones, Cub, food, gas and stuff. Right after that, the rules changed about gift cards. That we couldn't do them anymore. And the discussion with Lindsay and the finance people, because the cards came in before kind of the clarification of the rules, we're gonna go ahead, and there's no easy way to give them back. So we're gonna go ahead and give them out under the old rules. Not gonna take any more gift card donations or whatever. We just going through things, I'd forgotten to put it in front of the board. So I'm just getting in front of the board so we're legal. So.
I appreciate that. Once again, we appreciate the support by the Wright Hennepin Cooperative.
That's great.
And at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve and accept the donations from Wright Hennepin Cooperative.
So moved. I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to accept the Wright Hennepin Cooperative donations. Any discussion?
That's a very unfortunate rule.
Yeah, well, and so we used to have, previously, we had authorization in the state grant that we could do gift cards. Well, I just got the new grant documents. They've taken it out of that now, too. So I can't do gift cards in any way, shape, or form anymore. So, yeah, it is what it is.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Resolution vote, Commissioner Shane?
Aye.
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 All right, resolution passes unanimous.
Thank you.
And Matt is making his way to the podium.
I softened them up for you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My first item, you will be acting as the drainage authority for County Ditch number 23. We received a repair request from Woodland Township, who is a benefited landowner on County Ditch number 23. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute 103E 715 Subdivision 2, you are required to hear this repair petition and determine if the drainage system needs repairs. Some of our staff survey and thoughts were included in the board packet, and if you have any questions on that, be happy to answer.
All right. So at this time, we're looking to get some direction here on the records of County Ditch 23, as well as the research the repair request itself, looking at engineering for it to make a determination.
Yeah, that Minnesota Statute 103 715 Subdivision 2 does have that as the next required step. I did have that as my item number 2 to potentially come back at a future board meeting to discuss that internally as staff, just given the relatively small size of the repair and the cost that could be associated with the repair report that would also be assessed to the benefit of landowners. So just wanted to do a little homework on that before agreeing to that.
Mr. Chair, members of the Drainage Authority, staff's recommendation is as stated in the RFBA for the board action here, but at this point in time, given the lack of records, I believe that we need to start a records reestablishment process under 103E.101. So I guess we'd be looking for direction from the Drainage Authority to direct staff to get quotes for that, to start that process and to bring it back. I know Matt was very ambitious and put down February 18th, but I'm not sure we can get engineering quotes in the next week, but we'll strive to do that. If not, we'll try to get it back here by early March.
All right. So I guess I don't even know that we need to get legal opinion on it for the reestablishment of records. I think it's pretty obvious. So it's more the fact of skipping to just move forward with getting quotes on a engineering firm to do the redetermination of our reestablishment of records and come back at that point after that's done and talk about the repairs, because we can't do anything without the records.
Until you have the records. Yep, I agree. Yep.
All right. So with that, I would entertain a motion from a board member here to direct staff to get engineering quotes for a reestablishment of records on County Ditch 23 and come back at a subsequent board meeting for action.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Dietrich,
Second.
second by Commissioner Moyna. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Motion passes unanimous. Thank you, Matt.
All right, awesome. And then the second one is follow-up from a public hearing we held recently to approve the findings and order correcting the drainage system records for Wright County ditch number 19 located in French Lake Township. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Mr. Chair, I would just note, on this matter, you're acting as the Drainage Authority for Wright County Ditch 19.
Thank you. So this is back to our hearing that we had a few weeks back. So at this point, I'm looking for a motion to,
I'll make a motion to approve the findings.
all right.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Moyna, second by Commissioner Dietrich to approve the findings for County Ditch 19.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to say that we had a good turnout for that hearing, and it was just really important, a lot of good information, and I think a lot of people got their questions answered.
All right. Very good. It's a resolution vote. If there's no other discussion, I'll vote aye.
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 All right.
Aye.
All right, resolution passes unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, now we are putting on our Health and Human Services hats and working as the Public Health Authority and the Health and Human Services Board. And good morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Commissioners.
First item under this portion of the agenda would be the approval of the consent agenda. We have 3 different items on there. We'll stand for a motion, or if there's any discussion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to approve the Health and Human Services consent agenda. Any
I
other-
would like just to mention, because I think it looks like we have a lot of positions that are turning over. In this case, the case aid position was a promotion into another vacant position. So it's kind of one of those good churning positions that we have that position open now.
I appreciate you pointing that out. If there's no other discussion, we'll approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, consent agenda approved unanimous. Thank you,
Thank
Jamie.
you very much.
First, the timed agenda item.
Right, we have a very celebratory agenda item. For our first item, we'd like to recognize Dr. Jennifer Ramirez's services to our Public Health Task Force and the HHS Advisory Committee. She's retiring from both committees after 19 years of service. She's been a faithful servant to Wright County during all this time. And I don't know, Sarah, if you would like to make the comments regarding Dr. Mater. And Dr. Mater is seated right here with her family. And we have a lot of public health staff that are here as well to recognize Dr. Mater.
Sure. Good morning, Board. And Dr. Mater's here, and she also has family here with us today. Besides the 19 years of service on our committees, she's been with us for over 25 years, serving as our medical director prior to serving on our committees, and worked with us on many policy developments. She was first to develop our respiratory protection plan for staff, and was part of developing META. So many of you know META. META is still around, obviously. Remembers when we first developed back on 9/11, worked on respiratory protection because that's why we developed it, because of 9/11. I mean, these are long-standing programs of why we started some of our work. So, and very lucky to have a physician to guide us in some of these processes. And I would just say we would not have the clinic in the downstairs if it wasn't for Dr. Mater. She was a regular communicator with Representative Dean Erdahl in that process, and he was crucial in the passage of the bonding bill. So she's just been a huge advocate for that portion of our community as a resident of Cokato and also as an advocate for public health. So we're very blessed to have her. And I don't expect her to be totally quiet in her retirement. She's just redirecting some of her energy. So we're just very lucky to have you. So thank you.
Dr. Mater, I will say I have lucky enough on a few occasions get to sit in on some committees over the years with you. We have been so blessed here as citizens of Wright County to have gotten all the wonderful service from you and all the volunteer hours. We can't thank you enough. You've been an amazing asset, and I'm sure you'll continue to be an asset. And we can't thank you enough for all of the time you've committed to and given to the citizens of Wright County and to this organization. Thank you.
Chairman Vetch, yes, the past 2 years on the Public Health Task Force, you were always a shining light, and I appreciated all your wonderful comments, and I do see such great value in our dental clinic, and that was a huge undertaking, and we're very thankful. Our citizens are thankful, and you've really served Wright County well, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mater. We'll be going over some of the information from the dental center in a little bit, so hopefully you can stay for that.
And it's hard to move on, and somebody who's made such an impact in this organization. I feel like we didn't do it enough justification, Dr. Mater.
So next, we'd like the board to adopt a resolution to accept our January 2025 donations.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland to accept the resolution for 2502 for the January donations. Any discussion? All right. With the motion, it was.
It's a resolution.
Pardon me?
Is this a resolution vote?
It's a resolution,
Resolution,
yes. Yep. All right. Sorry. Yep. So it'd be Commissioner Holland?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. All right, resolution passes unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I would like to lead off my director comments with the Public Health Task Force dental update. And it's not much of a presentation, but I'll hand this paper over to Dr. Mater so she can walk away with the good work that's happened. And you should all have this in your packet as well, commissioners. The Dental Innovation Coordinator 2024 Summary Report, the Oral Health Initiatives, total reach was 8,516 people. Oral health education in schools was met at a 70% threshold. The February Children's Dental Health Month brushing competition in 2024, they had 1,310 participating students, and in this year, 1,310 participating students. And direct referrals submitted via online were 106, with 44% being Wright County residents. The Community Dental Care 2024 statistics are, I would say, even more overwhelming and significant. In 2024, total patient visits were 15,053 individuals, 45% representing people from Wright County, 18% from Sherburne County, and 13% from Stearns County. These represent 6,190 unique individuals. 88% of those people, as you know, are on public programs, which was why this effort was so tantamount to meet the needs of our people that are on public programs to get their dental needs met. Uninsured were 6%, and children under the age of 21 were 52% of these visits. And again, the emergency care visits, I think, is also significant at 1,965, which potentially would have eliminated many people stopping at the emergency room first and then being redirected to a dentist after that. So again, I think these are very significant numbers. And just so the board knows, because Wright County was leading this initiative, and in 2025, we are passing the baton to Benton County Public Health, and they're in the process to finalize the Blue Cross Blue Shield contract to become the fiscal host for this position. So after this year, Benton County will be the fiscal host for the dental program that has gone through Blue Cross Blue Shield. So with that, they're just really significant numbers, Dr. Mater. So you probably got this somewhere else. In addition, for director's comments, I wanted to just give the board an update on our financial services update. It just says you've heard us come in many times talking about the unwinding and, just like what an effort this was. I think a lot of times when we look at financial assistance, we just deal in that stark, how many cases are open or how many people do we have on cases, but you don't see, again, I'll use the word, just the volume that happens about cases that open and close, and all the processing that happens in that case, because that static number is not really representative of what our staff are doing. So our phone statistics as of this last year, as a team, FA financial assistance handled more than 74,000 calls in 2024. The applications processed in the food support, oh my gosh, CA, help me out. CAFs and emergency was 6,467, and our CAP CCAP would be our our child care program, 453, healthcare, 1,372. And as you know, the state stood up auto renewal process, and the auto renewals, even though it says auto renewals, there's still somebody touching each of those cases. That was 13,075, and of those 4,435 were manually processed. And then I thought this would be very interesting for our board, because in the end of 2023, HHS was approved to hire an internal fraud investigator after not having one for several years. So Dan Christian joined our staff, and in 2023, prior to having that a fraud investigator on staff, we saw a total savings of $79,000 and an overpayment total of $80,000. So when we say the savings total, it means $79,000 of money not going out to participants because they were found ineligible prior to, because of something in their application that was potentially incorrect or in fraud on their point. Then in 2024, after bringing Dan on board and after taking a while for him to kind of get stood up in the new position, we had a total savings of $703,000. And an overpayment total of $417,000. So really a significant change, like a tenfold change after bringing on a fraud investigator in that area. So I commend you for doing that, and I commend our financial assistance program for helping with this throughout the whole process. I think the integrity of the program has really stood up when we have somebody like that on board that our staff can turn to when we have issues. Then I have one final item. It's not in your packet. I have 2 letters of support that I have signed, and I'm just letting you know in case anybody would like to throw their support behind this. One is to the Minnesota Department of Transportation. I'm writing on behalf of Wright County Health and Human Services to express our full support for MnDOT infrastructure grant application for Project 3. It's the shared use path for our commissioners that are in this area, connecting Prairie View Middle School and Prairie View Elementary School located in Wright County as outlined in the Design Assistance Program. So it would be a walking path for kids between the 2 schools. The other letter of support is in support of the Central Minnesota Mental Health Center's application for a grant through DHS for kids 0 to 5 to enhance mental health services for children. So unless I hear differently, my signature is on these and they'll be going out in HHS's name. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jamie, for those updates.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions by board members, we'll move on to items for consideration. First item on items for consideration would be the approval and the adoption of the recommendations from the Personnel Committee of the Whole on January 27th. This was quite a robust meeting that has had a culmination of 12 to 18 months of work to bring these recommendations forward. First of all, the recommendations would be the restructuring to add an Assistant Director of Taxpayer Services, to move OT2s under Election Manager, approve extension with Abdo contract, and to develop a description for a Senior ERP Product Manager and Oracle Developer position. The second recommendation would be the consensus to bring forward a contract and a resolution for the appointment of the county administrator. And the third recommendation would be the authorizing hiring of a full-time staff to fulfill department equivalent positions, and the direct staff to develop a job description and administration department organizational chart that was provided as it pertains to record management. So quite a good presentation, and lots of subsequent meetings prior to this to bring forward these changes, but I believe these changes over time will help us to recruit and retain employees, as well as be able to wean us off of contracted services that are costing us an exuberant amount of money month in and month out. So these changes are necessary in order for us to move forward, and we'll hopefully be able to save money over the longer period of time. With that, I'll stand for a motion to approve these recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Moyna, second by Commissioner Holland to approve the recommendations from the January 27th Personnel Committee of the Whole. Any
Chair?
discussion?
Yep.
Yes.
I just have, honestly, it was well done, well thought out. I was just not aware of it, until a couple weeks ago, all of these changes, and it did take a lot of work to get there. My only frustration, and I shared that at the meeting, is that had we known these positions or in some manner coming forward, that we're just into February now, and now we're adjusting the budget for these positions and or offsetting it with some costs, which I do understand as well. So I just want to acknowledge that it would always be better to get these things in the budget so that we can plan for that. That's all. Thank you.
And so a lot of these ones were incorporated into Department 100 within the budget. We just weren't ready to articulate what those positions may be at budget time because we were still in the process of deep research. Staff was trying to make the determination of what would solve the issues and being able to make sure that we weren't making a, preemptive decision without having all the analysis done. So we are sensitive to the point that we try to make these decisions at budgetary time, but sometimes if we're not ready, we actually allocate some of those funds within Department 100 to make the decisions at a later date, but understand your point on that. All right. Any other discussion? All right. Do we have a motion on that? Yes, we did. All right. Any other
Commissioner Moyna,
discussion?
second by Holland.
Yes, that's right. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimous. All right, next we have the A2 would be to schedule a committee of the whole, or Health and Human Services Committee of the Whole, or whatever you want to call it, to have a discussion and an update on public health, targeting February 18th at 10:30 a.m.
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
All right. Motion?
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Shane to set a committee of the whole to discuss public health on February 18th at 10:30 a.m. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimous. All right, B1, we have set the agenda for the Tuesday, February 11th County Commissioners Workshop that was included in the packet. Once again, we have a pretty robust agenda there for that workshop. Is there any additions or corrections to that workshop agenda? If not, we'll look for a motion to approve that workshop agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, the workshop agenda is approved unanimously. All right, and the last item under items for consideration would be to adopt a resolution appointing Mr. Kreiser as Wright County Administrator and authorizing signatures on the employment contract and a memo of understanding
I'll make that motion.
Second.
in the resolution as well. So we have a motion by Commissioner Moyna, second by Commissioner Shane for the appointment of Mr. Kreiser as Wright County Administrator. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just real quick, I just see some things in the contract differently than the commissioners, and that's just where I sit right now, but I'm ready to move forward with.
All right. And thank you, Commissioner Dietrich. Any other discussion?
I would like to say, my administrators, many of the county administrators, many business leaders have been asking for the last 6 months when we were going to move forward with Greg. I kept getting that question over and over again. And so to have it finally be here today, we really appreciate everything that you do for us, Greg. You will lead the county. You have been helping for the last 10 years lead the county, and now you're gonna go solo. I think it's the best fit for Wright County at this time, and we're so grateful that you stepped up.
Greg, there's so many things I could say because over the years, you and I have worked on a lot of different things, and over the last 6-7 months, you've done a lot in terms of moving things forward in this organization. I can't thank you enough. I already know that you'll do wonderful things in the years to come. So with that, I could go on and on. So, other comments? No? All right. With no other comments, we have a motion by Commissioner Moyna, second by Commissioner Shane. Resolution vote. So you're all start off the vote. Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes 4-1. Congratulations. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. I want to thank you sincerely for this appointment, and this truly is the highest honor I think that this board could give someone. And I really have to say it's been a pleasure working with the departments and working with such great public servants that we have here in Wright County. And the board's vision and direction to help you lead that and implement your vision is the highest calling I think I can have. This board has nothing but the highest esteem for public service, for doing the best duty that you can for the community, and for watching the fiscal dollar. Being in budgeting for the first time this last year was an eye-opening experience. I mean, as an attorney, you deal with everything but finance, and to be in that room and to watch how every one of you cares about every dollar that you tax and how you scrutinize everything so diligently is absolutely just wonderful to see. And I'm looking forward to working with the board more. And so I thank you for the appointment, and I thank the staff as well and everyone else in the county.
Well, thank you, Greg. And Mr. Lutzen told me that he's giving you 15 minutes after this board meeting to vacate your office over there. So you're going to have to run fast.
I think there are a number of attorneys lining up to try to get that office.
I'm sure they have it all boxed up for you already.
Which office?
All right.
With no other business to attend to at today's county board meeting, we will adjourn here today at 9:40. Thank you.